Welcome to the Knowlesville Coaches Corner. My name is Zach Hudson, Athletic Director at Knowlesville High School. Today I'm joined by Paul Derrick, Head Football Coach for the Knights football program. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Appreciate it, man.
So, Coach, take us through the off-season. I know it's been one like no other.
Yeah.
Take us through what it's looked like for you guys.
Yeah, so just going back to after the season ended and then starting our winter workout program in January. Had a very, very productive winter workout program, about 35 to 40 guys working out, made tremendous strides, and then obviously in March, everything got shut down. So trying to navigate through all that, being away from our team, posting workouts on Twitter and trying to communicate. And I'll say this about our guys: when we did get back together in June, it was obvious that they had been doing something. They had taken it upon themselves to keep working out, and I was very, very proud of them for that. Very pleased to see them when they came back. And then we were in small groups of 10 in June, then got to transition into larger groups in July, and here we are a game week, and just with all the uncertainty and everything that's surrounding this football season, I'm just excited that our guys are getting the opportunity to play, and then having to change our week one opponent and it being Brentwood, and that only makes it more exciting for our kids. So it's been a challenge, but our kids have done everything we asked them to do. All we've asked them to do is just control what we can control. They've done that, so hats off to them, and we're going to go out there Friday night and give it our best shot against a really good football team. So,
Coach, speak to that. I would say that's a testament to your leadership of your team. Who are some of those guys that stand out as leaders?
Yeah, we have the Leadership Council that we started a couple years ago, so those guys have done a tremendous job, and when we were on quarantine, I was trying to communicate with those guys, make sure that they understood, like, hey guys, you guys got to be my eyes and ears, and you got to hold people accountable and get people doing what they're supposed to be doing. So that council is, Grant Reeder, Zach Weisel, Chris Cotton, Peyton Hicks, Mike McWilliams, and then you got other leaders on our football team. Obviously, Ryder Gillardi, our quarterback, he's a natural leader, so he's always out in front, doing a great job of leading. And then Gage Skipper, Colton Dobson. Colton's actually on the Leadership Council as well. So we've got a good senior group. It's funny because when we were opening up the program, playing JV that first year, we actually coached those kids at the middle school. So we've coached this group, longer than any other group I've ever been around. So we got good leaders, and it was obvious, like I said, when we came back in June, that people were held accountable and everybody understood the standard, and we just hit the ground running.
So, Coach, you alluded to this earlier. Originally, you were supposed to play Antioch week 1. Metro Nashville decided to delay the start of their football season. So,
Correct.
Talk us through how the Brentwood game came to be.
Well, it just really happened naturally, I guess. Coach Crawford and them opened up with NBA. They were scheduled to open up on the road. We were supposed to be at home versus Antioch, and NBA was kind of in that same boat that Antioch is. So he reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you want to play?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely, let's do it." It just made sense. Not have to scramble to try to find a game. I mean, obviously, playing a 6A Brentwood team is a challenge, but I knew our kids would be excited, and when we told them, they were pumped. So,
absolutely, very cool. So let's talk about your team a little bit. So let's start on the defensive side. Yep. Front seven, you lost some key guys: Dan Rickert,
yep.
Braden Clark, C.J. Ware. Come to mind, but you have some returners. Grant Reeder jumps out off the page at me, a 4-year starter for you. So talk about your front seven.
Yeah, we returned 3 guys on defense. Grant Reeder being the one guy up there in the front seven that's coming back. But Tyler Nolan played a lot of football for us last year. He's also a defensive end. Dan Rickert was a tremendous player for us last year. Matthew Radley is going to try to step into that role and take over that nose tackle position. Inside linebacker, you got Mason Thomas, Jackson Good, and then John Ribeiro came back out this year. He's done very, very well. And then at outside linebacker, talk about Mike McWilliams, who played a lot for us last year. And then Alex Wine, looking for him to step up there as well. And then Tully Rich, he's worked extremely hard and been very, very productive these last few weeks in practice. So that's kind of the front seven. And then, the challenging thing for us is no spring practice, no 7-on-7s, none of that stuff. So really, we're trying to evaluate and identify players in a very short amount of time, and then at the same time get ready to go, put together a game plan and then go play a football game. So that's kind of going to be a work in progress for us on defense, I think, throughout the year, just trying to, once you get game reps and continuing to evaluate people. And then on the back end, we lost, obviously, Tim Kuchers back there, returned both of our corners, Colton Dobson, Gage Skipper, and then there's a bunch of guys in the mix at safety. Braden Rose is going to play that strong safety position for us. And then the free safety position is we got Eric Harper, Cody Farmer, and then Ethan Seiling, baseball player who came out this year. They're kind of battling it out over there for that spot. So again, we'll continue to evaluate as we go, and obviously the goal will be to be playing our best football when region play comes around.
So that safety spot for you guys is kind of like the quarterback on defense. How hard is it to get somebody up to speed without those game reps?
Yeah, I mean it's challenging because he's done. You can do a good job in practice, but then when it's Friday night and the lights come on and I'm on the sideline signaling and we're trying to communicate and you're trying to communicate and yet some fans in the stands, I guess, this year. I mean, so it's a little bit different on Friday night. So Braden's done a great job, and those safeties have done a great job up to this point. But I think there's no substitute for game reps. There's no substitute for having to do that in a live atmosphere. So, we'll see what happens when the lights come on.
So looking at the other side of the ball, I'd say it starts with Ryder Gallardi, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Ryder is a tremendous quarterback, tremendous leader. We ask him to do a lot on offense, and he's very, very good at operating our scheme. Coach Childs does a great job, getting him ready each week. But we're able to do a lot because of what Ryder's skill set allows him to do, but also from the mental aspect where he can process a lot, and it just gives us a lot of options. And it gives us a lot of different things we can do based on what Ryder's able to do for us.
So looking at the running back position, you lost Ryan Pistolka, who was a big piece of the offense last year, but Samson Johnson's back.
Yep.
Sophomore, got a lot of reps as a freshman. Talk about Samson.
Yeah, so Samson being a freshman last year, our whole thing was we didn't want to just give him 30, 40 carries a game, being a freshman. So we kind of eased him in there, and as the year went on, him and Ryan ended up probably splitting carries towards the end of the year. But yeah, Samson's going to be a big piece of what we do. He did a great job last year for us as a freshman. I think he had 8 touchdowns. Very, very productive. He's a natural runner. And then our offensive line, we got 4 of those 5 guys back, and I think it's going to be probably one of the better offensive lines that I've been around.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about the offensive line. I know that's a position group where you got a lot of returning snaps from a year ago. Should be a good unit. So talk to us about that offensive line.
Yeah, obviously we already talked about Grant Reeder on the defensive side. He'll definitely be a two-way starter for us. Then you got Jay Singleton coming back, Peyton Hicks coming back, Tyler Nolan, who played quite a bit for us last year over there. Then you got guys like Josh Fitzsimmons, who's done a really good job, and then the Trent Holloway coming over. So I feel good about that group. And then we lost Will Sparks, who was our center, and then Zach Weissel has done a really good job of stepping up and being able to snap the ball back there. And so yeah, we feel good about our offensive line. Again, going against yourself in practice and not having any scrimmages, it's kind of hard to know what you really have, but what we've seen so far, it makes me feel pretty good, and we'll find out a lot more on Friday.
So looking next at the receiver group, you lost a ton of production in Tim Kutris, obviously Mr. Football Award winner from 2019. Talk about the receiving core and who are the guys that we're going to look at on Friday night. Yeah,
so last year, just speaking about Tim, Tim was obviously a great player, and those other guys probably got lost in the shuffle a little bit, but I don't think the average fan probably wouldn't notice that Tim was able to have his success because they had to account for those other guys in some capacity. So you're not just going to be able to double Tim Kutris all night because Parker Price or Gage Skipper or Colton Dobson could step up and make a play too. But I'm excited for those guys to see what they can do without a Tim Kutris. Then you throw in Ben Coggin over there, Jalen Jackson, Dylan Northcutt. There's a lot of guys that are going to have an opportunity to step up and make some plays this year.
And being a spread offense, that's a position you got to have a lot of depth at. So a lot of guys that are going to be ready to play Friday night. Is that right?
Yep, that's right. That's right. A lot of depth, a lot of running, and Gage and Dobson playing corner. So we'll need some depth there. We'll need some guys to be able to step up.
What about special teams group? What's that going to look like?
Yeah, so that was a challenge for us. Again, not having spring practice where you're going to try to identify your snappers, identify your kickers, and we lost our snapper, we lost our punter, we lost our kicker. So trying to identify those pieces in a short amount of time has been a challenge. But we feel like we've got some guys that are going to step up. Reese Miller is our kicker, and then Mike McWilliams is going to handle the punting for us. Rugby player, so
he'll probably make some tackles too.
Yeah, he might just go cover the punt.
That's right.
So, and then long snapping, we're looking at a few people, but Grayson Graham's been doing a good job for us there. Mason Thomas has rep some long snapping as well. And then sophomore Nick Orphis has done a good job too there.
So let's look ahead to Brentwood Friday night. Obviously, you look at 6A football in the state of Tennessee. I would say they're going to be in the conversation to be playing at the end. And you look at that region with a lot of good football teams. They're going to be one of the best. So what challenges does Brentwood present?
Well, first off, Brentwood is a great football program. Coach Crawford does a great job. I have the utmost respect for him and the way he runs his program. Our staffs are very familiar with each other. Coach Kern coming over from Brentwood. Coach Finch is at Brentwood now as offensive coordinator. I worked with him at Ravenwood. Coach Crawford and I talk numerous occasions about defense because we run the same scheme. So if you look at us, we're almost identical on both sides of the ball. So I think that is another good thing about playing them. Even though they're a 6A team, we don't have any film or anything like that, but both teams, I think, kind of know what they're going to get. But for us, whenever you're playing a 6A team that two platoons and has more bodies, obviously you're going to worry about depth and things of that nature. So we've really tried to get our guys in the best football shape we can get them into. But again, they're a great program. They're a great football team. Coach Crawford and his staff do a great job, and it'll be a challenge, man. But like I said, when we told the kids, that's who they wanted to play. When they found out that we had an opening, they're pretty smart. They did their homework, and they're like, Coach, we want Brentwood, So they're excited that we're playing them, and to have them at home to open up the season. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere, and I think our kids are going to accept that challenge and rise to it.
So as a defensive coach, and you look at Brentwood offensively, I'm sure Walker Merrill jumps off the page at you.
Sure.
Talk about their offense a little bit.
Yeah, and then again, the challenge with that being you don't have any film, don't have any scrimmage film, don't have anything to really scout on them. So we'll go back and look at what they did against us 2 years ago, and as far as personnel, you just kind of go off what you know and what you see on Twitter. But yeah, Walker's a great player. Obviously, going to University of Tennessee, so he's going to pose some problems for us. We'll have to have a plan for him. And then, their quarterback has really impressed me. 2 years ago when they came over here as a sophomore, he did a really good job against us, made good decisions, and he's a load to bring down, man. So that's going to be the challenge for us, and not having any scrimmages, not really tackling live, and then the first time you're going to do that is in a game against a kid like that. That'll be a challenge for us. So we're going to have to run to the football and play very, very hard. But yeah, again, we're kind of familiar with what they're going to do, so we'll put together the best plan we can based on what we know. But I'm sure there'll be some adjustments made on Friday night.
So, Coach, when you look to Friday night, what do you feel like are some things that you're looking for as a coach? What are some keys to victory? What needs to go well for us to be successful Friday night?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I want our kids to have fun, man. With everything, just to get to this point is awesome for our kids, and I want them to have fun, and I want them to go out there and play free and don't worry about making a mistake. We're obviously going to be playing a lot of kids that haven't had a whole lot of varsity reps, especially on defense. So just don't be afraid to make a mistake, and play hard. I tell them all the time, effort can overcome a lot during a football game. So I feel like if we can go out there and we can play hard and we can have fun and rally around each other, I think we'll give ourselves a chance.
Well, Coach Derrick, I know you'll have your team prepared. I know you guys are excited. We look forward to seeing you guys Friday night against Brentwood.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach Derrick, for joining us. We'd like to now take a look at our other fall programs who've been dealing with the pandemic as well. We had a chance to check in with those coaches.
The players have handled it well. We've got girls that are just really happy to be out here and be around each other and to be able to compete. So from my point of view, it's been a little chaotic, but the girls have handled the uncertainty like pros. We've placed a high emphasis on living in the moment. We've learned a lot from the experience of our boys team this past spring that, we're not guaranteed anything beyond what we have in front of us on a daily basis. So I think if we continue with that attitude, that we're going to be prepared for our opponents come game day.
They have been so excited every day just to get out there and get to run with each other and see each other, and obviously just get out of the house and move. So it's been, I think, really good for all of them. The hardest part is at the beginning when I'm even giving them the workout and telling them what we're doing for the day. It's just to keep them apart. And like I said, they're so excited to see each other. They just want to be around each other. But once we take off running, they all go different paces, so they just kind of automatically social distance and break off into small groups anyways. In the time trial a few weeks ago, our top guy this year, Nick Beattie, he has crushed the old school record that Parker and Diego had. He ran under 16 minutes. The old record was 16:23. He ran 15:58. And then Alda Plant is our top girl. She's only a sophomore. And her trial time was 18:26, I believe, which is faster than I was even running in high school ever. So that puts that into perspective as far as just where she is as a sophomore is absolutely incredible. That should definitely get her. She already went to state last year, and that could easily get her top region title, or definitely top in the state as well just this year.
I think the biggest thing is volleyball just gives these kids something to get their mind off of what is a difficult time right now. Just the uncertainty day to day, having to deal with school in a different way than you've ever had to deal with it before, having to deal with athletics in a different way than you've ever had to deal with it, and without trying to make it too big, but just having to deal with life in a way that we haven't had to deal with it before. This is something that we're going on 5 months now of just a different way of having to live, and volleyball is a way for us to get some of that normalcy, to get some of that, just give you a few hours a day to get your mind off things that maybe aren't going so well, and focus on something that we all love to be a part of. So really excited that our girls are getting the chance to get back on the court and defend that state championship. Go Knights.
Before we go, let's talk about what Friday night's going to look like. And I'm going to answer some frequently asked questions. As I'm sure you've heard, Friday night's going to look a little bit different in Nolensville. Our capacity will be limited to 1/3. Bleachers will be marked off for seating and non-seating areas so people can social distance. It will be required that you have a mask. There will be a temperature check when you enter. And most importantly, all tickets will be pre-purchased. We will not be selling tickets at the event Friday night. If you're not able to purchase tickets and can't attend Friday night, we will be live streaming the game on our Nolensville YouTube page. Also, this is very important, Williamson County badges will not get you in for Friday night. Thanks for joining the Nolensville Coaches Corner. We look forward to seeing you Friday night. Go Knights.